Okay, hello everybody. This is the task for the week. Okay, so you need to set up your belongings. So using a pencil case, open a pencil case or a bag and have the contents spilling out. Or if you're doing objects, personal belongings, you can use those like what's on your bedside table or something like that. Okay, we're looking at the artist Andrea Joseph. So if you have a look at her work to start with, and she uses a really sharp pencil or a biro. So you will need a pencil, a biro. I've got a cotton smudger, okay, or I've made a smudging device with some loo roll and just wrapped it together. Okay, so what we need to do first is to plan our drawing. Okay, so to plan your drawing, you need to make sure you're looking at the scale of your work, making sure it fits on the page so nothing's coming off the page. Okay, you can have it coming off the page as long as you've got enough detail on there and it doesn't look like it's coming off at a certain point. Okay, I've made sure I can fit everything onto mine. The detail is sort of in the middle section here. Okay, I want you to make sure that you've drawn it all out really well. And then I want you to make sure that if anything's gone behind something, that you rub away any extra little bits to make sure that something has gone behind it. So everything is overlapped and looks like it's in the correct place. Now I always say don't rub out until the very, very end. Okay, so when you're about to put your pen on or about to go into it with your shading, you can carefully look back through it and just check that you've got all little bits rubbed away that you don't want to show through. Okay, so use a really sharp pencil to get an accurate drawing. Okay, so we're going to do this in different ways. Now you can choose which way you want to do this. Okay, so just hold this up. So this is tonal gradation with a pencil that you can use at the top. If you want to use it as a smudge technique, okay, that's the second one down. So using a cotton bud to smudge for this one, okay, on top of the tonal gradation. Or you could, if you haven't got a cotton bud, you could just use a piece of tissue paper rolled up. You could use cross hatching. So with a biro, going really close together and then spaced out, or stippling. Okay, so those are the four options that you can use for this task. Okay, it's up to you. So I'm going to do a couple of different versions of techniques now for you to see what I'm going to do. So I have printed out a picture of the photograph that I've taken. Okay, so it's not exactly the same, but it's a good reference. So I've got that sitting at the top, okay, to work from so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, now I'm going to use my pencil. I'm drawing at a very funny angle here to the computer, so it's quite a tough angle, this one. So I'm just going to quickly do some tonal gradation. So when you're doing tonal gradation, make sure you shade in the direction of the actual object that's being shaded. That's got a sort of funny sort of little shape to that underneath there. It's got a sort of lip that goes in and then it goes lighter. Okay, so I'm just using tonal gradation with my pencil. I'm not smudging it. Okay, I'm just doing it freehand, making sure that I can see where the device has got highlights and where it's got shaded bits. So I'm just going to put a bit of a darker tone on that side. Okay, so what I could do with that is I could use this to blend it through to give it a less harsh effect on that side. Okay, and blend these little bits into here, blend some bits into there. Now you can use a rubber to, just going to sort the edge of that out there, because that should be a sharp edge around there. Okay, you could use a rubber to pick out any highlights if you need to pick out any highlights. Okay, so onto a rounded object. So this is the rounded object. So I'm just going to do, I'm going to leave this as a highlight so you can see the highlight coming up the middle, and I'm going to leave that there as a highlight. So I'm just going to put my pencil on, nice and heavy down the sides. I'm going to go lighter to the middle. So if something's rounded, you always leave a light section in the middle. Now I know that pen's behind it, so I can go straight over there and use it like that. Okay, now this has got a different sort of colour on the end, so I can just go a little bit lighter here and a little bit lighter on this side. Okay, again I'm going to use my smudger to smudge in the areas that I want. Okay, I might use my rubber to get back that highlight. Okay, for a nice sharp highlight down the middle. Okay, so you can see that it's starting to come to life. Okay, now if I continue with that in the pencil, I'll build it up gradually. Okay, now with a pen, with a biro, it's slightly different. Okay, so I'm going to just show you inside here, inside this, the bag at the back, I want you to go really dark. But in this bit, what I can do is I can use cross hatching to go really dark inside this bag. Okay, so I can go that way. And you can see the lines. Now, this is how Andrea Joseph does it. So you can either choose to do the pencil or the biro. It's up to you. Okay, you need to do the research on Andrea Joseph anyway, so have a good look at her work and see what she's done. So you can see that I'm building this up and I'm just carefully cross hatching across. Okay, make sure it's nice and neat when it gets to an object. Okay, we don't want any rough edges. We want to see what the actual things look like. So that's nice and dark there now with my cross hatch. Okay, I could do that cross hatching on this Pritt stick here as well. So if I use my pen on this bit here, I could just do it very, very lightly. So you can see just very, very lightly there, coming around, making sure that the ellipse is happening. Okay, so just using your biro very carefully on the edge, create a nice ellipse there onto the edge. Okay, so remember, if things are rounded, you leave the highlight down the middle. So I'm just going to do some hatching down the side here. Some cross hatching down the side. I'm just going to add this little line onto the edge here. And then I'm going to work in a bit heavier to that edge. Okay, now this edge here would have some more coming around there, and it's got some lines that come round. So it's up to you how dark you want to go. Look at the examples that I've put on, okay, of other students' work from last year. So look back on the recorded lessons on the student portal to see what's going on. Okay, so you can see I've done my pencil shading, my cross hatching. Okay, so eventually when I come back to show you this, when I've done it, you will see that the different techniques that I've used, such as the tonal gradation, the smudged, the cross hatching, or the stippling. Okay, so it's up to you how you want to go about it. This is the task that you need to complete. So you can do it A4 to A3 size using either pencil with a smudger or a biro. Okay, good luck.